once labelmates under Kanye's Good Music umbrella, even releasing songs together back in 2013, and with hopes of plenty more collabs on the way.
My next album, man, I need Travis to executive produce my next album.
Oh, wow.
That's what I want.
Real? Your album is the best album of the year. It is my favorite album of the year.
Oh, my God.
That album is my everything.
Fast forward to today, though, and it's the total opposite. Not only would Travis Scott never executive produce Pusha's next album like they discussed, but now, Pusha T has completely cut ties with Travis Scott, literally calling him a whore in his latest interview. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop there.
This Travis, he's harmless. I'm not into his whole makeup. I took it there.
Having cited 3 specific examples of Travis Scott's behavior in the past, with one unforgettable day in Paris marking the final straw, the reason why Pusha T is attacking Travis is nothing small. However, the truth is, even Travis Scott's biggest fans are agreeing. Now, rappers splitting up from each other is by no means anything new, as with their big egos and deep pockets, this can often lead to conflict, resulting in even some of the most popular duos in hip-hop history, ending their relationships on ugly terms. But although Travis Scott and Pusha T were never exactly best friends, they still have over a decade's worth of history together. Prior to his debut mixtape, Travis Scott was a 20-year-old broke college dropout who was cut off by his parents. However, that was until one night which changed everything. Following an unexpected phone call from Kanye West, next thing he knew, Travis Scott was on a flight out to New York. Then, after getting greeted by Kanye with the Doritos taco from Taco Bell, which, despite loaded with sour cream that he hates, Travis ate it anyway, saying, quote, "That taco was so f***ing disgusting, but man, I wouldn't even notice." Kanye, though, could notice the superstar potential in Travis Scott right from the start.
So I was like, man, this plate is fresh.
Right.
And this taco is nasty. But I took it, ate it, it had sour cream all over it. I was like, oh my God.
Because you can't really say anything, right?
Yeah, I was like, man, yes, I'm about to eat this taco. Like, what's up?
And with his own record label, Good Music, taking shape at this time, with names such as Big Sean, 2 Chainz, and Pusha T, it was only right for Houston's Travis Scott to join the crew.
I'm Travis Scott, and I'm signed to Blank Music, whether I admit it or not.
Good.
At first, though, as you heard right there was a lot of speculation around whether Travis was actually signed to Good Music. But with the release of the label's only compilation album, Cruel Summer, in 2012, these rumors sparked even more, as 20-year-old Travis Scott was able to land 3 credits on one of the biggest albums of the year. And besides his feature verse rapping on track 8, Sin City, which was the first time a lot of us ever heard of Travis Scott, he also has production credits on 3 songs, including this one, The Morning, which includes a verse by Pusha T. To make it official, Travis would ink his new contract with Kanye's Good Music label in November of 2012, back when he still used the $sign in his name. However, he did not sign as a rapper, but rather instead as an in-house producer.
So tell us about the working relationship with Kanye. What do you guys do together?
You know, he's like one of my really good friends. It's just like crazy. We spend a lot of time together, like bouncing ideas and like, you know, creating music, like starting on ideas or like starting on beats or like raps or even just like conversation about videos or even just like stuff that doesn't have to do with music.
In retrospect, this was pretty pointless, as not only would Travis only produce those few tracks for Ye, but then went on to launch his own record label, Cactus Jack, just a few years later. However, by partnering with Good Music and all of its stars in 2012, Travis Scott hoped this move would propel his career to new heights. And to kick things off, came the highly anticipated release of his debut mixtape.
When I read that you refer to yourself as the Owl Pharaoh, what sound does an owl make?
Ooh.
Mike Jones!
But besides one of his earliest hits featuring another Good Music staple, 2 Chainz, Al Farrow also includes this track, Blocka La Flame, which, as it turns out, is actually a remix to Pusha T's single, Blocka, that features vocals from both Travis himself and Popcaan. With a music video released in December of 2012, as it currently stands, this would remain the last collaboration ever between Travis and Push. So what happened? Well, over the next few years, Travis Scott exploded into a star, following in his mentor Kanye West's footsteps and linking with more Good Music artists for hits. In 2015, which was the same year that we saw Pusha T get appointed president of Good Music, also came the release of Rodeo, Travis Scott's incredible debut album. As we can see though, Rodeo was not released under Good Music, as remember, Travis was apparently just signed as a producer for a short time. However, that definitely doesn't mean they were on bad terms. The album literally includes a Kanye feature, but then just a year later in 2016, after seen together here at the iconic Life of Pablo listening party at Madison Square Garden, in August of 2016 arrived Birds in the Trap, which, as Pusha T calls it,
I gotta say one thing. I just put an 8 in a liter. Throw some Jolly Ranchers in, make it sweeter. Versace buy clothes on with a white He's snorting 3 lines like Adidas. Remix. First of all, I gotta tell you, bro, your album is my favorite album of the year.
Oh my God, bro. Here we got it right
Bro,
here.
Listen, no. Real. Your album is the best album of the year. It is my favorite album of the year.
Oh my God.
From working out to driving. I'm getting tickets in my 911 to that.
Oh my God.
Trust me.
I'm on it right now, bro. This means so much to me, bro.
That album is my everything.
Bro.
I'm extremely proud of you. You always been great, but this is next level.
In promotion for his second studio album, Travis Scott and his DJ, Chase B, teamed up with Apple Music for a new show called Dot Wave Radio. And as you just heard, Travis would enlist Pusha T as a guest for episode 5, chopping it up together as homies about everything from their new albums to even the 2016 presidential race, as well as Travis asking this about Pusha's famous collab with McDonald's.
I got a question, bro. This is a real question, bro.
Yeah.
And it's something I want to know. Did you write the McDonald's jingle, I'm loving it?
Yes, man.
Oh my God! Dude! God!
Yo, it's so crazy. It was like one of my first big checks.
Push confirmed that he did indeed write that iconic McDonald's jingle. But besides continuing to share his praise for Travis Scott and his new music, right before hopping off the phone, then came this request.
Listen, y'all, hold on. I gotta put this out there before we get off the phone, man.
Mm-hmm.
I told y'all, Travis' album is my favorite album, man.
Yep.
My next album, man, I need Travis to executive produce my next album.
Oh, wow.
That's what I want. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw you every bar I got, and I'm gonna let you place them on them tracks however you want them to lay and call it a day. I don't even want to look at it. I just want to leave it with you and just walk away and just let that be that.
Say no more. Done deal. On the record,
right,
Travis is doing Pusha T's next album, executive produced by LaFlame. Say no more. We got it.
Bet.
Obviously, Travis Scott would never go on to executive produce an album like Pusha T had wanted. But even just listening back to this episode now, it really makes you wonder how the two's relationship crashed down so hard only a few years later. However, thanks to Pusha T's new diss track, as well as his recent interviews, we now know the exact truth. As far as I'm aware, straight up calling another rapper a whore in a publicized interview had never been done before. But that's exactly what Pusha T just called Travis Scott multiple times. Along with this funny comment too by the journalist, print can't do justice to the disdain in Pusha's delivery here. In preparation for their first album together in over 15 years, biological brothers Pusha T and Malice, who make up the rap duo known as Clipse, released their first single together since 2009 called Ace Trumpets.
Clipse is back. That's what I cared about.
Album?
The album is coming July 11th.
July 11th.
Single is out.
Now, Malice did have a feature on Pusha's 2022 album, It's Almost Dry, but again, their return as a duo had been anticipated for more than 15 years. However, we would have actually gotten the album a lot sooner if it weren't for one major problem. After initially playing their new album for their label Def Jam back in early 2024, one particular song featuring Kendrick Lamar stood out. But not for good reason. They wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse, said Pusha T, which of course I was never doing. And then they wanted me to take the record off the album. While it is definitely strange for a label to not want to include a feature from literally Kendrick Lamar on your album, back at this point in early 2024 was of course when the Drake vs. Kendrick beef ignited. And despite Push himself claiming that Kendrick's bar in question wasn't even a diss at Drake, Pusha T refused to make any of these requested changes, thus quickly leading to his longtime relationship with Def Jam crumbling. But not without a massive price.
Pusha T responded to calls to censor this verse by just standing on Clipse's artistic and creative freedom and said, no, we're not doing it. They bought themselves out of their deal, and now we are going to hear this album unedited.
I don't know what their concern is, recalls Pusha T's manager, Stephen Victor, but they were like, there's a line here, we think it's controversial. Kendrick needs to change it or we're not putting it out. We were not going to ask him to change the verse. You guys are wrong. Stop looking at it this way. After even trying to convince Def Jam to just let them release this one song somewhere else to avoid any complications. Their response though? How about you just find somewhere else to put out Clipse? Just pay something to us and put it out somewhere else. So, going on to fork over what Stephen Victor describes as, quote, an insane amount of money, a lot of money for an artist to come up with, They then bought themselves out of the Def Jam deal, able to pull a few strings such as hopping on the phone with Jay-Z. Only a few weeks later, a new contract was in place with Roc Nation, announcing that their new album is coming in July. Clearly, Pusha T is out for blood. "I hate every last one of you b****s," he typed on Instagram. But although stating that he has no interest in baiting Drake back into their beef, while some fans will tell you that he's just doing this for album promo, this time Pusha T has taken aim at another superstar rapper, Travis Scott.
Him specifically, too. I don't take it as personal as I should. As Travis, he's harmless. I'm not into his whole makeup. I took it there.
Despite some initially speculating his new diss lyrics could be about Kanye, following his recent interview though with GQ, there is no denying who it's about. And while it is a sinister Pharrell beat on So Be It that draws you in right away, it's Pusha T's fourth verse which stole all the headlines. Rapping lyrics about Travis's baby mama Kylie Jenner and her lip gloss business, hinting at their breakup, name-dropping Utopia specifically, before then going on to say this crazy line at the end.
But I got the video I can share in AE. They wouldn't believe it, but I can't unsee it.
What do you mean? Why do you have it? What do you mean you have it? You freak ass, what do you mean you have it?
So be it, so be it.
Right, you got it, send the video. Not to me. I don't want to see it. I'm just saying, like, that's a bold claim. What you mean by that?
I got the video, I can share and AE it. They wouldn't believe it, but I can't unsee it. Lucky I ain't TMZ it, Push raps, claiming to have some spicy, never-before-seen footage in the vault of Travis. As of this video, it's unclear exactly what he means. However, obviously, Pusha T is not holding back.
It's one of those indirect, direct shots. It's like a shot in a room full of crowded people. It hit exactly who it was supposed to hit. He hears this. I'm sure he gets the message.
Now, personally, I'm a big fan of Travis Scott and his music. But if you want me to be honest, Travis involved in a rap beef is about the last thing I want to see, at least in terms of diss tracks. But nevertheless, after hearing Clipse's latest single, we are again left with one question. Why is Pusha T attacking Travis Scott? If you've been following his career for a while, or just a fan of hip-hop in general, by this point it's no secret that Travis Scott is not a good person. Throughout the years, we have now heard countless stories of Travis being a dick and super disrespectful to other people, which, as it turns out, is where Pusha's problems begin. When asked specifically by GQ about why he's deciding to go in on his former label mate, first, he cited Travis's 2023 song, Meltdown. If you can remember, as track 7 on Utopia came the latest Travis Scott and Drake collab titled Meltdown. And with the song's title stemming from Drake's bar about, quote, melting down chains that I bought from your boss, and then basically stating that nobody wears Louis V anymore after Virgil Abloh passed, these were clearly disses aimed at Pharrell, who is the creative director at Louis Vuitton as well as Pusha T's really close friend, specifically referencing the iconic jewelry and chains owned by Pharrell, including the legendary NERD chain priced at $2 million alone, which we came to learn that Drake actually purchased through one of Pharrell's auctions.
Opportunity for other people to own some of these pieces that he had most of his life. People do this most of the time after their death, but this is genius to do this in a lifetime. This is museum pieces, this is museum jewelry. This should really be in a museum.
He then actually wore them in his Jumbotron Poppin' music video, but although first appearing like he was just paying homage, obviously after his Meltdown verse, Drake's intentions were clear. However, as the lead artist on the track, Travis Scott just sat back and watched. And to make things much worse, not only does Pharrell literally have production elsewhere on this same exact album he's getting dissed on, but as Pusha T tells it,
he's shameless. It all came from actually being in Paris. It came through carrying the Utopia briefcase,
Right. Yep.
Doing his whole spiel.
Mm-hmm.
He comes, he interrupts the session. The next day, the Meltdown verse or whatever comes on.
The true context of that is we were in Paris literally working and he was calling to play P his new album. He came to Pharrell's studio at LV headquarters where Clipse was recording and interrupted a session, Push recalls. He sees me and Malice there and he's like, oh man, everybody's here. He's smiling, laughing, jumping around doing his f***ing monkey dance. We weren't into the music, but he wanted to play it and wanted to film me and Pharrell listening to it. But then, a week later we hear Meltdown, which he didn't play. Well, he played the song, but not Drake's verse. As Pusha T tells it, Travis insisted on playing him and Pharrell Utopia before it released, and filmed their reaction. Footage that we can see right here, but yet apparently elected not to play them the song where they get dissed on by Drake. However, On the other hand, according to DJ Academics, he claims that Pusha T has his timeline off.
They say you got your info wrong. They say you must just be trying to sell an album. You're dissing Travis for no reason. They said, basically, whenever that song got played for you, Meltdown, Drake did not record on that song at that point. He couldn't have played it.
Axe says Pusha T is only doing this to sell more albums. And to support his claims, also is the fact that Drake's Meltdown verse is missing from all of the Utopia vinyls. Again, likely due to it getting turned in right before the release. But regardless though, as another fan puts it, this still doesn't make this any better. If he played the album for Push and Pharrell a week before he put disses on there about him, that's still a snake move, and there's no dressing that up. In my opinion, they are correct. Asking an artist for feedback just to turn around and let someone else diss them on your album is pretty lame. However, Push didn't stop there. He's done this a lot. He has no picks. He'll do this with anybody. He did it with Sicko Mode, on which Drake seems to diss Kanye off his third album Astroworld, despite Travis's close ties to him. Push then referenced last spring, when Travis Scott joined Future and Metro Boomin on stage at Rolling Loud Cali, and excitedly asked them to play their collab Like That for the first time, which disses Drake.
Hey, before y'all get out of here, bro, just play that. Oh, man. Please, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Metro's trying to get out of here. Like, nah, Metro, you gotta let that shit go right now, bro. Never something dope is you like that, man. Oh, they might gotta wait on that one, man. Come on, they might gotta wait on that one.
He was on that Rolling Loud stage like, play that, play that. Pusha T continues in his interview, he don't have no picks, no loyalty to nobody. He'll jump around to whatever he feels is hot. That filthy quality that they have about themselves and that lack of loyalty, Travis really has that. He's proven. I just named 3 people that he does that type of behavior with. I'm just not one of them. Dog, I ain't with that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the majority of Travis Scott's fanbase are actually agreeing here with Pusha T, when saying that Travis has no loyalty and only does what benefits him. But as for Pusha T, combined with dealing with all of the drama his former label boss Kanye has brought his way over the past few years, his patience has finally expired.
He does this numerous times. You know what I'm saying? He'll do it with his mentor.
Right.
Ye. Even instrumental in the whole beef now, the Like That verse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Egging that on. I don't want nobody who don't rap to egg nothing on. You don't rap. Stay out of rappers' business. You specifically, stay out of rappers' business.
Right. I've already dealt with the lack of loyalty from his mentor, the guy he looks up to, Push said, referring to Kanye. I've been dealing with the corny that goes along with them. So it's like I'm in a whole nother place.
Pusha, you know that. All that tough guy shit, what a tough guy shit, nigga. All these records about all the people you'll kill and all the drugs y'all sell.
But in classic Kanye style though, only a month after his livestream rant, then came this tweet. I miss me and Pusha's friendship. However, as it stands, it's unclear if Travis Scott feels the same way about Pusha T. Once close label mates and collaborators with big plans for the future, it remains to be seen how Travis will respond.